Correction. And welcome to National Sounds of Gospel TV and video show. I am your host, Tamika J. I'm sitting here with the beautiful and lovely National Gospel recording artist, Tatiana Barnet. And Tatiana, if you would please, we're just going to jump into this conversation. I want to thank you for being on the show first, but I want to really, because I'm excited. We've already been talking, y'all. Y'all don't know it, but we've already been discussing, and my spirit is illuminated.
So my name is Tatiana Barnet. I am born and raised from Houston, Texas. I have been singing since the age of 2. And then I became a worship leader, and now for the last 3 years, I have been a recording artist.
So we're going to jump into what she just told y'all. She was born in Houston. We're the Houston girls. I was born in Houston.
Oh, yeah.
She started singing at the age of 2. Something in the water.
Mm-hmm.
It is, there's just so much that we have in common. I love this. You don't meet a lot of people who started singing at the age of 2.
Mm-hmm.
So do you feel like God called you early in your life?
Very early. I believe God called me very early. There would be times that I'll be singing in the church, and I didn't understand that God was using me. I didn't understand that He was working through me. I just knew, you have that innocent, childlike spirit, and I would just allow God to, minister through me. And I didn't know He was using me. I just thought, well, I was singing.
Right.
But now that I look back, it's like, oh no, He was definitely
using
me. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Using it. It's something to be used by God at such a young age and not knowing.
Yeah.
Because you're just doing something that you love to do, thinking that, oh, I love doing this. I love seeing their reaction when I'm singing, and you're not knowing that reaction, that you're laying a seed into them, and literally making a difference. They may not tell you then because you're such a young, you're young. But has anyone ever come back to you and said, that song you sung really touched my heart?
One of the first songs that I led as a child was I Told the Storm, and I still hear about it today. People are like, can you come sing I Told the Storm in my church? I'm like, no, the storm is gone. I told the storm a long time ago. I don't want to tell it no more. So I still, they still come to me and tell me how impactful I was as a child, and it's still mind blowing to me because it wasn't even my intent,
Right.
But I still today I hear it.
It's something that you say. It wasn't your intent, but it was God's intent.
Definitely God's intent.
It was God's intent. And so, at what age do you feel like not only did He bless you with the gift of song, but what age do you feel like God began to bless you in your spiritual gifts?
I think I became fully aware when I was 22. I had my son at 21. And at 22, God started using me in the office of the prophetic, and I really didn't. I knew about it because that's my background, but I didn't know He wanted to use me to do that. But I think I was around the age of 22, and I was like, okay, this is what you want from me. So let me figure it out.
And so at 22, being still young, because during that time, we're young, like we're figuring life like that. And I most definitely remember and agree when I was 22, over 20 years ago. But I remember when I was 22, and that's an age where you're figuring, you're figuring life. But at the same time, you're being used by God. You're a PK kid. So the foundation was already laid for you to easily be able to maneuver in singing, and because you come from a spiritual a family of singers, correct?
Yes, I do.
And the spirit was already there. That helped to illuminate.
Yeah.
I keep using that word, right? Y'all, that's going to be the word of the day.
Illuminate.
We're going to tell y'all why, but a little later. So I love how you are moving within the realm that God has you moving in. So at the age of 22, God was using you in the prophetic. Can you give us an example of a time when God used you prophetically?
Absolutely. And I remember this. I will never forget this day. I am really good friends with Daryl Walls. We grew up together. And he and DJ Lowry and some of our other friends, we used to always go to Denny's. After every church event. That's where the kids were going. We went to Denny's. And I remember God gave me a word for one of the workers. And I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. Like, there's no way they're going to think I'm crazy, God. Like, we're in Denny's. And I remember the Lord locked my body up. And he told me, he said, until you release what I've given you to release, your body is going to remain locked up. And I remember I grabbed Daryl and I started crying, and he was like, just release the word already. and I was like, oh God, I don't know what to do. So after I released what God told me to release, he unlocked my body, but I was literally like locked up. I could not move. I couldn't really do anything. I just had tears streaming from my eyes. I was afraid, I didn't want to be seen as crazy or like, we in Denny's, you being deep. But and at that moment I knew, like, okay, like, this is not for play. Like, this is not a joke. It's not a game. When God tells you to say or do something, you need to be obedient right then and there. And anything other than that is disobedience, And so after that, I've never wanted to be reprimanded like that ever again.
It's not fun at all. No. And I can tell you, speaking from experience, I understand. One thing that was told to me was there was a word that God had given me to release. Same thing, kind of, sort of, and it was for somebody that I knew. But this person didn't know the gifts that I was able to move in. And I had to go to pick up my daughter. She was at her other grandmother's church. And when I got there to the church, the pastor, as soon as I walked in the door from the pulpit, looked at me and said, Tamika, if you do not release the word that God gave you, the blood will be on your hands.
Jesus.
And I got my daughter, and I hightailed it back over to the church, and I gave him the word.
I know that's right.
Because I did not want to be responsible for anything that would happen if not. And so, y'all heard it here first. Be obedient to the Spirit. When God tells you to do something, you need to do it.
Radical obedience.
Because if you don't, that bloodshed, if something happens to that person and you didn't warn them, warning comes before destruction. But if something happens, you're responsible.
Absolutely.
Because you did not do what God told you to do.
Absolutely.
So now let's get to the song. Tell us about Illuminate.
So Illuminate is about shining your light in a dark world. Whatever your gift is, whatever God has called you to, your purpose, it's not the same as everybody else. We're all different. We're all uniquely created and made in His image, but it's different. We have different gifts, and we are not supposed to just use those gifts in the church. Some of my lyrics in the song, it says, if we hide in the church, will the world ever see our light? They won't ever see it if you don't go out. We are supposed to spread the gospel of Jesus Christ. So you're supposed to use that light, the voice or whatever gift God has given you to go and shine it and say what it is that God has told you to say or do what it is that God has told you to do. So that's what Illuminate is about.
And that's amazing because that's exactly what is needed. And there's a huge shift that's going on in the spirit right now where God is calling His prophets, his prophets, His intercessors. If you've been gifted by God, He is literally calling all of us right now to a major, major calling that the world needs, because it's not about the four walls of the church. You are the church.
Absolutely.
So it's not about the four walls, because the four walls is just a place where you go and worship.
Yeah.
And you worship with like spirit. It's like spirit.
Fellowship.
Okay? That's it. It's just a fellowship and hall. The real work is on the outside where His people need you. And so if our light is not shining, then you're showing something else if your light's not shining.
Yeah.
So I thank you for that. And thank you for allowing God to use you. And thank you for being obedient, because there's so many people that are still running and they really don't know how important it is to just say yes and to just let go and let God. Now, we're gonna talk about the Stellars. So what's been going on with that?
So I made it to the second round voting. I was not, I didn't make it to the nominee, but I did make it to the second round of voting for the Stellars, which was such an amazing experience. It was such a blessing. I knew for sure. I was like, I'm running up against some big names: Tamala Mann, CeCe Winans. I want to say Doe was maybe in the category that I was in. So I knew, what it could have, what the possibility could have been. But just to see my name
Right.
amongst these amazing people, these amazing singers who have been doing this for so long, it encouraged me. And I just felt like what I'm doing is not in vain, or what I'm doing it's not being unnoticed, because it's easy to go unnoticed in any industry, not just gospel, but in any industry. But the first round of voting, it's where the members, they vote for you. So to be considered by my peers and other people who are out here doing the same thing that I'm doing, grinding and singing and working, it warmed me up, and it gave me an extra push to keep going.
Come on now. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That is huge.
Thank you.
I'm clapping, and I know you guys are going to be sitting there clapping too. So we're so very proud of you, and it's going to happen again.
Yeah.
And don't be surprised, because you're going to win.
I received that.
It's already a done deal. You're going to win.
I
So
received
congratulations on your win.
Thank you.
But there's so much that I see God is just, I can't do this right now. So God has a lot for you, and He is truly going to be moving in your life. I have to be obedient to the Spirit. There's so much that's going to be that God has for you. And the Stellars is not just one that you're going to win. There's going to be other awards that you're going to be nominated for that you are going to win, and they're going to be big. So do not think that, and I know you don't think this, I know you know, because you listen to God and you believe and you walk in faith. So just know it's going to be multi-award winner is going to be following your name. There's going to be multi-award winner and then your name, because you are walking in that. The doors that God is opening for you are going to be truly, truly major doors. You may be independent now, but there may be a label that's going to be looking to sign you. And only if God says yes, then that's what you and your team, that's what you guys decide to do. But there's going to be some calls coming, and you just recognize that when it's thus said the Lord, then you guys move in whatever God is telling y'all to do. So much is coming for you. Juneteenth, you got something huge coming up. You coming back to Dallas? I love the fact that she's coming back to Dallas. So we get to see a lot of her. We're gonna be going to H.
Dallas is like my second home now. I'm always here. I'm always here with Faith. She takes good care of me. I love you.
Hey, come on. We love us some Faith. Hello. Look, if y'all don't know, and y'all can't see her now, but I see her literally. I truly want to thank God for you, for your company, for just reaching out. Faith, you are a part of this family. Don't you go nowhere. I'm going to be chasing you. National Sounds of Gospel is coming after you.
She's amazing.
She is amazing. Now, where can we find you? And Juneteenth, you're going to be where?
I will be at the Symphony. It's
in Dallas.
Okay. And Erica Campbell's going to be there. Zebulon Ellis, and a whole lot of people. It's a mix of gospel and hip hop. It's really crazy that listen. It's a God thing. I'm gonna say that. It's
National
God
Sounds of
thing.
Gospel's gonna be there too.
Yes.
Yeah, because we're going to see her.
I'm so excited. So I'll be there June 15th in Dallas, and then are we airing this for tomorrow?
Well, we're going to be airing this really soon, but you can go ahead and say it. What's going on tomorrow? So tomorrow is a big event that's going to be coming up, May 19th. She's going to be a part of the Carnell Booker, the Blackout Experience 2023. Yes. And there's some majors that are going to be on
majors.
There.
Yeah.
So we're going to be talking about that live, you guys. So make sure that you guys tune in to the live. But I'm so excited. We cannot wait to follow you. Where can they follow you?
So on social media, Facebook, you can find me at Tatiana Barnet. Instagram, you can find me at official Tatiana Barnet. I really don't use Twitter or TikTok, but you can type my name in and find me, and you can find my music on all music platforms. It's YouTube, Pandora, Tidal, whatever you can think of. Just type in Tatiana Barnet or the title of my album, which is Audacity.
Okay, yeah. You also can hear you can hear Audacity and Illuminate, but you can hear Illuminate on National Sounds of Gospel on all the platforms that National Sounds of Gospel is on. And I want to tell you thank you so much for being here. And I always say this, and you can follow me. I'm gonna say let's get it, and you're gonna say let's go. Okay. So we're getting ready to get into some videos, you guys, right now. And as I always say, let's get it,
Let's go.
see you soon.